and brother there, reaching out to all the massive on the African continent. And you're tuning into the Pan-African Bliss Show with your host, none other than Joby, from Monday to Friday. Stay tuned and to rock
I gave you all the love I got. I gave you more than I could give. Gave you love. I gave you all that I have inside, and you took my love. You took my love. I keep crying, keep trying for you. There's nothing like you and I, baby. This is no ordinary love. No ordinary love. This is no ordinary love. No ordinary love.
Greetings and salutations, Master News Andrew Robinson, all the way in Switzerland. And you're tuning into the Black on Fire Radio.
Yes, good afternoon, family. Karibuni sana to another beautiful episode right here on the media of the 21st century, the Black Fire Network radio station. This is the Pan-African Bliss Show, and of course, I'm your lovely host, Joby. 15 minutes past the top of the hour, right here in the 254. Karibuni sana who's just, to everyone who's just tuning in through Facebook, through Twitter, through YouTube, through Rumble, through the show page on the radio station, and also on our Twitter page. Karibuni sana. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. If you are just going to work, or rather you have just settled right here on the media of the 21st century, hope you guys get to tune in and of course participate on the conversation of the day, where today we shall be focusing on a topic that I had set aside on Tuesday, but I was not able to cover. But of course, I want us to debate about this, and this is coming from Uganda, and not just Uganda, but if you try look at the direct of the topic, or rather what it's been focused on, it's majorly happening and affecting the continent itself. I don't want to speak about Black Americans right now, but I feel like right now the focus should be on the continent itself. When you talk about cultures and traditions, we know they're still very active right here, and we want to talk about how effective it has been, most of these cultures and traditions being wiped out, not only by the white supremacy, but also by the African people themselves. I want to check into a few factors to see what is it that we actually still value as African people. I'm going to give also some few tips of what personally I've grown up knowing. I mentioned a few things yesterday. If you remember, of all the things we discussed, if you are tuned in on the Africa Today show, it was super crazy. But yes, we shall be talking about that, because my topic is actually being driven from a conversation coming from a non-profit organization that is in Uganda that actually is addressing the issue of domestic violence in the country and in a few rural district areas. But if you try look at actually the country itself, which on Tuesday we had a few people who hit the streets calling out on poor governance, poor roads, poor schools, literally dictatorship in the country. It's so crazy to see someone like Museveni says is busy producing wealth while we have such kind of unattended matters. And I'm not just blaming him. It's actually throughout Africa where we've seen domestic violence being very, very active. But can we go back to our cultures and traditions? How our men used to present themselves, the women, what is it that we have actually left behind, and where can we pick up from? As you can see, revolution being on the peak. The video I'll be sharing where we have some women who are defending, of course, the Africans where they will need to adapt, or those who are still stuck on cultures adapting the modern ways of living that was introduced by the white man. But we also have some people who are defending how the white man came, wiped out, and still is wiping out the cultures. And this is why we can see things like twerking for 3 hours and you're winning a whole Guinness World Record. It's gonna be seen right now like it's a normal thing. And shout out to Keith for saying, and shout out to Kamlesh. We are having this debate on Tuesday on the Culture Show, and we were talking about how this is so shameful, and where they want to put the image of the black man as the frontier, if I'm using the right term, of this kind of images or kind of practices. It is super, super wrong. That is our conversation for the day. I'll be talking also a little bit about what is happening in Ethiopia regarding the landslides. Do remember that so far we've had 229 people whose body have been confirmed, and of course we have a majority of the people have also been confirmed dead. The retrieving of the bodies is still going on. I've not seen any way where the Ethiopian government has actually intervened in this, but rather they sent their condolences. How is this supposed to help? You know? How is this supposed to help? And the same argument I was having, shout out to Dimore, he was actually saying the same thing. Most of these people are living in these areas because the government is pushing them to these kind of areas because we've studied soil, god damn it. If you go back to literally science and you understand the different textures of soil, this is why you're not supposed to be living where you can't build a house. And sadly, it's so crazy that we have very well-studied engineers, but they won't be given these job opportunities. We have Chinese being given these projects. We have poor sheets being constructed, and lands are being stolen, people being pushed to the edge, and then you end up experiencing a landslide. It is the same people to blame. This is not a natural calamity anymore. It's not. It's becoming too much of a norm. We're coming back with that after this short musical break. We started with Sade, that is with No Ordinary Love. I love the jam. Just listened to it when I walked into the studio and I was like, God damn, this is a good one. But it being on a Thursday today, let me throw it a little bit back. This is Tyrese coming in with Sweet Lady. And of course, come back with the quote of the day in case you have anything to share. Shout out to everyone joining in through TikTok. Shout out to Mr. Black Hot Fire. Shout out to Fab Fast Bolts. Okay, shout out to you. Shout out to the Star 69 user 69. Hope you're doing amazing. And to everyone who's also listening and tuning in through Twitter and YouTube and Facebook Rumble. Hope you guys get to enjoy the show of today. Feel free to also hit the like button. Share this amazing live with your friends and family. Let them also stay educated and aware of what is happening in our continent, so they can stop saying that we do not have shoes. God damn. Let them stay educated that actually Africa has resources. I was actually watching a video today of how shout out to Sifuna. I was watching a video of how Africa, or how our soil generates wealth, resources in general. When you talk about gold, diamonds, silver. I was watching a video which, if I'll be able to find it, I'll share it at the end of the show. How wealth and why continuously the white people will never stop coming here, because the wealth will never it's endless. It will continue generating and generating, and they know the blessings we have right here on this soil. This is why they want the land. Receive me, sweet baby, would you be mine? Sweet love for a lifetime. Time, but I don't want to, cause you're so damn fine. And I heard that you were taking that don't have to stop. You were making late night phone calls on the telephone, bunch of fantasy. Now to get on when you need me, I will be there for you, my sweet lady. Would you be my sweet love? I'll be
Say you will be my baby. Say you will be my baby. I've got to have all your love, so I won't be. Just say you still give it to me. Don't wanna I will give all my heart. If you say you be
Yes, welcome back to the Black of Fire Network radio station. This is the media of the 21st century. That is Tyrese with Sweet Lady. And of course, this is the Pan African Radio Show. My name is Joby, in case you're here for the first time. And welcome to everyone who's just tuning in. In case you are here for the first time, I'd love to urge you to subscribe, follow us on whichever stream you are live with us from. And of course, also download our app, which is very easy to find on the Google Play Store. If you are an Android user, just search for Black Hot Fire Network and you'll find us there nice and easy. And through the application, it takes you to our website, which you can be able to download. Kuna kanguru. It's disturbing me.
Okay.
My attention just up there.
A crow?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's good. Yeah. Sorry about that. that was distraction. But anyway, karibuni sana to everyone once again. If you are on Facebook, on YouTube, hit that like button, share this amazing live, download our app, and of course, through the app, like I said, it will take you to the website, which you can also be able to purchase our merchandise, share amazing links and information on our social page, and enjoy the Black Hot Fire Network radio station. Karibuni sana, see strength in the building. Good morning to you too. Hope you're doing amazing. Nice to see you this amazing, beautiful day right here on the Pan African Bliss. Like I said, today shall be taking our conversation to the African cultures and traditions that are being wiped. Not anymore by white people, but I don't want to say that white people are not active in our continent. They are still very, very active. But right now, I feel like it's more being practiced by Africans themselves. When you talk about African themselves, we're talking about our very own puppets. Number one, come to the system itself, how it's been changed. We've seen a lot of westernization, of course, also peaking, which is being accepted, and a lot of things. But I'll be sharing a video, like I said, coming from Ugandans, and this comes from a topic that drew my attention on how marriages, something we're discussing even yesterday, our marriages, why they were so long lasting when you go back to our great grandparents, literally, why marriages could work without finances being there, having money being the factor of this relationship. Literally, people used to build together, grow together, and find literally harmony. Shout out to Kamlesh for using that term. It's trying to balance life so both of you can live in harmony. But if you look at today, we have a society of men twerking for 3 hours. That is culture being wiped out, because where is masculinity being taken? Why don't we have masculinity anymore in our communities? And we need to talk about it, because the more we keep quiet about it, which is the white man's agenda, as we wake up, as we can see, Africa is on the peak of revolution. We're no longer going to have men who are going to be on the front line. Rather, we're going to have women who are going to be defending their children, because men have failed and have decided to become more feminine, more than masculine. Today, we're seeing men who are being raised thinking beating a woman, that is the way of correcting her. You can't just sit down, have a conversation. You can't try have talk. Domestic violence has been on the peak, and we'll try check the percentage of it in Africa and see how worse is it in each African country. But today's focus is on Uganda. That is culture being wiped out, because those are not our men where they could beat you. relationship, again, marriage was all about coming together and making things work. But anyway, before we get into that, that is in a few. I want to talk about, of course, what is happening in Ethiopia, a conversation that we've been having right here this week, if you have been paying attention, and I spoke about it also yesterday. And we did see that was on Sunday in the southern part of Ethiopia. There was a landslide, and that was caused due to heavy rains. And I just want us to critically think, family. And maybe I'm the one not understanding things, but why do we have people living in these dangerous areas? We have ministers of land and whatever, if I'm not wrong, because right now, that is the type of situations we're dealing right now with in Kenya. The cabinet secretaries and who have been appointed, their positions, what is their work? Is that what they studied? Are they able to understand the positions that they are being given, and will they be able to deliver the work, or is it just all about taking money every end of the month, being paid and delivering nothing? Because that is what we've been experiencing for the longest time. And that's why I said yesterday, we're no longer in an era of the tactics of dictatorship of the 90s or the 60s. The generation is woke. So my question is, is it just, I understand where we do have natural, catastrophes. They do just happen, like, the effects of just nature. But at this point, I feel like majority of those people who are living on this, I'll call it an edge. Because if you've seen how landslides do occur, it is very easy for the government to come and do a study and tell the people and warn them, hey, this and this and these dangers often might occur because this and this, and that's why I'm going back to science when I talk about why don't people understand soil? Do the ministers who have been appointed for the jobs, which include lands, they understand the different textures of soil? Why can you build our lands? This is why in Africa, why we have poor engineering, because we have people who have been given these job opportunities due to greediness, nepotism, and we have all the time buildings collapsing, people dying because of lack of study that is supposed to be done on the ground before construction is done. I don't have all those ideas of what is supposed to happen, but I'm just giving a few tips of what I believe and know should happen. But in Ethiopia, back to the case, we saw yesterday that, of course, it was the family members of those who lost their family members on that landslide that have been literally trying to retrieve the bodies that are still there. And it's not yet known the total number of the people who have been, stuck on this particular landslide. But they're saying at the scenes, Ethiopia's deadliest landslides, men are still digging through mounds of mud with their bare hands, spade and pick access to find those missing, and their efforts punctured by the wails of women and children mourning the 229 people whose bodies have been found. And if you also try to look at most of these conditions, most of these people are living in these ages. Like I said, I'm going to call them ages because the lands are being taken away and being given to the UAE companies and all these other countries. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. Karibu sana Keith.
Sana.
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm having my cup of tea and I'm doing amazing. Karibu sana.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I might not be doing amazing, but I'm all right. But yeah, you're talking about Africa is set up so corruptly that they understand soil, but people that do the job are not there to do the job. They're mostly, like you said, they're because of tribalism, nepotism, and all other kind of criminal shit. Exactly. They're not there to actually benefit the people. That's not even a forethought in Africa. That's why we have revolution going on now. That the African people have been so neglected and pushed into certain areas that shouldn't have housing or dwellings in that area because it's dangerous.
Exactly.
They know that. They don't give a shit. They know that people don't. They know that people don't know, but they know. And then when something happens, They never have any kind of, just like when it flooded this year in Kenya. There was no relief set up to help the Kenyans because they don't give a shit. Nothing's ever done in African countries like the rest of the world to actually have relief organizations set up to help them when things happen, because things are going to happen in life. But nothing's ever set up in Africa. Just let shit happen. People die. Oh, well, move to higher ground, whatever.
Exactly.
It's like
That's what the Ethiopia minister was telling. I don't know if it's the prime minister or the president. I can't remember who it was, but he talked nonsense. He said that, I'm so sorry, all he could give is condolences. I'm like, God damn, we should be having by this time, it's 2024, God damn it, facilities and things that should help people, you know, to be rescued very quickly when we have this kind of.
Of course, you should have.
They want to claim it's natural calamities, then fine.
But you've been underdeveloped on purpose. All your resources have been gone to help the European and Asian Americans have their shit done right. Africa suffers, and these puppets don't care about it because it doesn't affect them. They've been able to live decently in Africa. Everybody's all fucked up.
It is such a sad situation to see that I have to be the one digging the body of my loved one, you know, and maybe I've lost 2-3 people because it's not even I don't have the full details of at what time this happened on Sunday. Maybe most of the people, it seems maybe they were sleeping because it was heavy rains. So this is something that they are doing on purpose, like you're saying. I believe this is where an agenda, the agenda 2030 of depopulation, how it happens, but they want it to happen because they don't want to save people, because you have if you look at the US, they can really help Africa, but how do they help Africa most of the time?
They don't want to help Africa, Joe. That's the whole thing. They keep Africa underdeveloped. If I'm helping you, those resources are supposed to go to me. They help me live better, not you. So yeah, these countries never intend to help Africa. Never. Yeah, help you out your shit, but never to help you get on your feet. No.
It is sad. And then when we see African countries raising their eyebrows when America has, like just what happened to Trump, let me use that as an example, or what is happening to Palestine, or anything concerning just America. Africans are always just so concerned, you know, but when it comes to us, the US, all they do is keep on funding more money for the war. The Hegelian dialectic game that we don't have any idea of what is happening. It is such a sad situation. I'm really, really saddened by this situation in Ethiopia, because these natural calamities, they are becoming too much. This is because they're pushing people again to the edge, stealing lands because of the resources they want to keep on mining. That is a question we're even asking today. The person was given the job opportunity of mining. The cabinet secretary was given the mining sector. According to his papers, is not done geography. So how is someone who does not even understand land, you know, nothing to do with land?
It's more than just understanding geography. When you do mining, you must learn how. It's about geology. That's a science. Geography is just common sense. You're supposed to know.
The landscape, all that. What do you know? This guy didn't do geography, did nothing to do with land. But right now,
not even geography is the minor, Joby. You should be a geologist, not just geography.
I'm just saying even you're saying it's the minor. Now imagine the fact that he didn't even do the minor kid, but he's been given that opportunity. I mean, what do we expect?
But the Africans didn't know. The Africans didn't know that, Joe. Now you know. Africans been kept so ignorant, Joe. But you know, you had all these morons putting. Africans didn't even know their presidents were morons. You've been straddled with morons from the beginning of these independent movements. And all these presidents have been complete idiots. Oh, damn, they're retarded. Like a joke, you know. So now you understand that. That's why Africa's fucked up and don't work. You got idiots running shit. They're not supposed to be running things. Exactly. It's based on nepotism, tribalism. That's why shit don't work. Because it's not gone to the most competent person, Joe. But like you know what you do. You're competent. Oh, is he part of my tribe? Is she my cousin? All this dumb nigga shit. That
It,
my shit don't work.
it is crazy. It is so crazy. But condolences to the people who
But
have
that's
lost
what
their
you're exactly. That's
body.
what you're changing. Like, hey, this is unacceptable. This guy can't be the damn director of mining. He's like a geologist. He has no clue what the fuck he's talking about.
Hmm.
That's like me
This,
talking about I'm gonna be the head of surgery, Joby. And I'm not a doctor. I'm the head of surgery. Keith is gonna be the head of surgery.
you're gonna
How many
kill me.
sur- How many surgeries have you done, Keith? Not a goddamn one. I don't know what
You
the fuck I'm doing. Exactly.
you gonna you're gonna kill me. This is why you have
All
doctors
right.
who leave blades on people's intestines and all they do. Oh my God. Man, from my mouth to the universe, may nothing ever happen to me that will ever require surgery. Because even the doctors we have in Africa, literally, it's all nepotism, and it's just so crazy, man. It
That's
is.
why exactly. That's why those leaders in Africa, they know how fucked up they made the system. That's why the African leaders who got the money, they fly out of Africa to get their damn work done. They don't get their work done in Africa because they know they left the system all fucked up. All these puppets leave out of Africa to go get their damn health care. They don't do it inside the continent. They know they fucked shit up so bad. They're not about to go to no damn doctor in Kenya, in Ghana, in Nigeria. They fly the fuck out. I'm out of this bitch.
Shout out to Jiba Jaba in the building. Good morning to you too. Thank you for updating us about the time. He says, I am a surgeon. The knee bone is connected to the leg bone. Come on. Right. Then you end up becoming a whole cricket walking. Come on. It's just crazy. But as we get to move on to the main conversation is about the African cultures and traditions being wiped out. This week, we've been mentioning a lot about that on most of
Man,
the shows.
you've been told it's evil.
Mhm.
Everything African is evil. Everything
Exactly.
African is bad.
So we want to share another
I was tell,
documentary.
I was
Uh,
telling everybody when I heard Joby, I said, Joby, were your ancestors evil? They said, yes. I said, no, they wasn't. Yes, they
I mean,
were.
that's what we're taught. And, that's what we were taught. And I think you did also speak about what Maria, shout out to, there's a lady who looks like Maria on this video. She has the British accent like Maria. Shout out to her.
She can say, hey, Jabba Jabba, do you think Maria sounds British? She don't sound British to me.
She has a British accent here, and she has even the body of Maria. So she's talking about how the cultures have been wiped out. She talks about how the white supremacy has been effective. Literally, it's like a street
Yeah.
question, street knowledge, literally from random people in Uganda talking about
Yeah.
how those who believe that the Africans should now accept the modernization that is slowly peaking. But let me explain more, and then we shall also go back to an article which made me bring this conversation because in Uganda they are saying that domestic violence is it's actually getting super bad. But it's not just Uganda. That's what I was trying to explain from the beginning of the show.
That's what happens. That's what happens when African men have no power in the world. They feel they got to inflict power on their women. So that actually means you're weak. Because no other man, they know they get no respect for no other men on the planet. They're considered stupid, docile, and weak. So
And
they feel like to get power, they inflict terrorism on the women. So it's a vicious cycle.
And it still goes back to the cultures and traditions because our great grandparents never used to do this beating of women.
No,
There was no disrespect in marriages. There was respect. I was talking about our marriages was all about coming together. Shout out to Kamlesh again, where he spoke about it was
how you doing?
understanding. It's all about understanding each other's curiosity and trying to create harmony. Trying to create harmony in between you or in your life. So I want to share this video as we get to continue. Shout out to Keith on the background.
This week on the 77% Street Debate.
We are speaking about the
impact of westernization towards our daily lives.
Yeah,
as
for about an
Ugandans.
We
hour.
keep singing that culture is dying, culture is dying.
It's Africans who are eroding their own culture.
I was punished twice for speaking my local language. You know, at those days they would put a dress on you, a badge on you to indicate that you were found speaking a local language in a compound. There have been efforts to decampaign African languages and local languages in particular.
We're having this conversation in English for starters, and one fiber of culture is language. If we are having this conversation in English, what are we still trying to defend?
We've been having a talk that a woman is not supposed to eat chicken and eggs.
Right. Okay. Let's settle this chicken situation once and for all. Hello and welcome back to the 77% Street Debate. This week we are back in Uganda's capital of Kampala. Now this is a city that's steeped in traditional culture, but you wouldn't know that walking around because like many capitals across Africa, it's also living in a modern time. And so today we're asking, are African cultures at risk of being erased in the quest for globalization? And who better to answer this question for me than Ugandans here? And I want to start with Kia because when we had a conversation earlier, you said something very interesting about what you think the role of culture is in society. So in your family, what role does culture play?
It plays a role when it comes to discipline, when it comes to morals, when it comes to way of behavior. So culture to get rooted into the young people, it has to begin from home. For example, me, I'm a Langi by tribe. I've grown up from Kasese, from Western Uganda. My mom is from the East. So when you get to see that whole combination, you think, I'll not know my mother language. Yes, I know Langi. I can speak Langi fluent. When I'm in Northern Uganda, I can speak the language. But why am I able to do all this? Because my father taught me from day one. If you greet a in Langi Itieningo, and you reply him, I'm fine, you're going to get a smack on your head. So if you're speaking of society and the cultural leaders are speaking of them, the issue being with young people, the issue is actually with them.
Okay, so before we address the issue in totality, I just want to understand, because not everybody lives.
I agree with her from that first number one. As I spoke about this, where it starts from home. You taught culture is all about morals, how you dress, how you behave, and all that. As much as you can see modernization picking up, it starts from number one from home. How do you treat men? How do you treat your elders? How do you treat your sisters, your brothers? So it all starts from home, and also from greetings too. Also for me, when I go to the village, I can't talk. There's some people I'm gonna like my uncle. I do talk Swahili, but there's people who have not seen like the elders than my uncle. I'm gonna have to speak back in Kamba because replying them in Swahili sounds like it's disrespectful. It's like you're trying to, it's like at least try, If you don't know, they teach you so you can know. So that next time when they greet you, don't do the same because it speaks as either disrespect.
Home. So what does that look like for you? Is that when you're having birthdays? Is it when there's marriages? When do you really feel this culture?
Culture is actually felt during traditional ceremonies. That is during Emikolo, what they call Emikolo among the Baganda, the traditional marriage. So the only time I would know that Agomesi exists properly is when there's a traditional marriage. And then these elders who tell us to dress like in traditional wears, and that they're actually dressed in that traditional wear. Now, that means that we are only shown and we are made to believe that culture should only be portrayed during traditional ceremonies, right? If you come dressed in your skinny pants, I will actually send you away, but you cannot tell me to come for a grand party and you expect me come dressed in Agomesi. What are you trying to tell me? Because that's what society has shown us.
Agomesi is the traditional Ugandan regalia. Yes. All right, so let's move to Faith here for a little bit because you come from an extremely traditional home, and what Kia is talking about here is not new for you, right? But you have a very different interpretation of it. Tell us a little bit about that.
My grandmother would wear her gomesi every time. It felt like it was the only dress she knew. And then I had a great-grandmother who would do the exact same thing. My mother wears her gomesi to almost every function she's been invited to. When I home, that's very, very traditional. You have to kneel when you greet. You have to kneel when you serve. You have to do certain things the way they are meant to do. Your clothes are supposed to be a certain height. You're supposed to speak your language. You're supposed to, it's so cultural to a point that there even gender roles attached to men and women because of culture. Culturally, a man is like a god. We see him as he's up there, and so if I'm talking to
Like
a
a
man, I'm going
god.
to be kneeling. That
See,
particular parts of
kneeling,
the
that,
chicken that
they got that
only
kneeling shit, that kneeling.
the man eats. And as a woman, you shouldn't eat them. And also, well, growing up, I used to see my grandmother refuse to partake of chicken.
Actually, it was for us growing up. It was you can't eat before. What I've grown up seeing, you can't eat before the father gets in the house. You guys have to wait unless he's gonna say he's gonna be late. Unless also we have a smaller kid, those who cannot like wait, they're gonna sleep early, then fine. But for you, the children, the wife who are capable of waiting, you can't eat before the man of the house is in the house. That is some of the cultures and traditions is also happening.
But that right there is just a sign of, that's a sign of respect. That's so I can appreciate that. That's a sign of just respect. Unless somebody's hungry, I say go and eat. Go and eat. You ain't gotta wait on me. But I see that's a sign of respect. So that keeps a family together, and it's a sign of respect, which Black American women don't have in today. But that would keep your marriage and a society going because it's respectful. It's just little things.
Yeah, it is because that is majority of the times for me. I'm gonna use as an example. We could wait for our dad. Then we had the dining table. So when you sit on the dining table, that's when he's gonna be observant about a few things. He's gonna like that you've lost weight or you've gained weight, or he's gonna notice just a few things. So I feel like it's a way of also connecting because that is when you talk about the family issues also or address maybe some cute stuff. So yeah, it is a sign of respect.
Because it's meant for the men. But then growing up, I feel like I don't want to do all that.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, wow. Whoa. Gabriel.
It's not right to misinform. We are a cultural society that is culturally stranded because of the political question. We are not Ugandans by choice. We are Ugandans just by the virtue of colonialism.
Exactly.
We are put together.
You're done because you understand. You're only Kenyans and Ugandans because of goddamn colonialism. Because you really wasn't Ugandan nor Kenyan. That's some shit that was made up. You weren't Ugandans and you weren't exactly. You only that because of colonialism. That's what you try to tell the dumb South Africans. We're South African, not. You only that because of colonialism.
True.
You're no different than any other African. Go ahead, Joe.
Karibu sana Joe Mosquito, hope you're doing amazing. Adziba Jaba says, last month y'all were on Nigerian's neck, now on Uganda. Come on, we love all our people. It's all love. You must check on them, And I also see you saying, that's her twin. Yeah, like if you listen, because there's where I think ahead of this video, she's gonna switch to the British accent immediately. I'm like, God damn. Yeah. Ziba also say that's funny. I tease Maria about catching Setus a chicken, and just says my wife waits for me cause she can't cook for shit. Lol, god damn. That's at least you are a man who can cook. I mean, that is something. Personally, being honest, I am attracted to a man who I come home to and he has cooked for me. I mean, it's not a must if you can and get to you. Hey, start to people like Wallace, like come home and ready, tie
shit. See?
Really dope kid. I don't know if you really understand. I don't know. Maybe for me as a woman,
I know you like it, Joe, because I'm talking about. You're a kind of woman. See, that's another thing about being I hate to use the word, a strong woman. So you come home and got the man cooking and shit.
Yep, like hey, it's attractive. Like you just got time to make sure this food tastes good because of me. It's nice. That's really, really dope. And the way men are so pathetic at cooking, I appreciate a man who can cook for real.
So because we are mixed up, someone comes here and their cultural incompetences are pushed onto others. In Uganda here.
Wait, what do you mean when you say cultural incompetences?
What I detest in my society, and you do it, I find it as an incompetence in my society. Here in Uganda per se, we respect women to the fact that the biggest. Wait a minute. Because even in the Iraq of our
So when he speaks of respect, I'm going to pause on that. See, this is where I go back to the article that I wanted to read, where we can see there's a group, a Ugandan group campaigns that is campaigning against domestic violence in some rural districts. So it shows you when you talk about cultures out there taught in different, I'd say, ethnic groups, let's say like Kikuyus, Luyas, I'm going to give some example. We're not taught the same. So when you have men who can respect women, we have men who disrespect women, who know a woman cannot be corrected unless she's beaten. And there are other societies where a woman knows, hey, a man is not supposed to raise his hand on me. Like we have that lady from the beginning, she says, I've seen this kind of traditions, but I don't want to live with that traditions. So we have women who believe a man is supposed to beat me. That is the way he shows me he loves me. There are women who are like, hey, this is not the way of you showing me you love me. You are killing me. So there's a difference according to what he's trying to say and the article that I want to read.
Kingdom, the four most big offices in the kingdom belong to women with land, title, and authority attached to it.
That was the majority. That was the majority in Africa. So the beating and all that shit that came with the Europeans. Africans did not beat their women. So whatever tribes took on that shit, they took on European mindsets. Because what he's saying is actually true. Because women were considered the foundation of all societies in Africa. So you wouldn't beat them in their own land. It was every time you had some outside group like the white Arabs and the white Caucasians who hate their women would come in and try to change the culture of Africans to treat their women badly. That's the history. You understand this? When the white Arab first came to Africa too, pushing that Islam shit, he was upset that the African woman was treated fairly and had positions and title in the society. They would say, what the fuck is a woman speaking and having positions? So that's African culture. African women are equal in African culture, and they're part of the hierarchy of the society. And you go back and read them books, and them Arab men would get mad at that shit. And just like the white Caucasian men. Go ahead, Joe.
You were just teaching me about how even when it came to approval of men being leaders, it had to come from a woman. And we can see the effect of it today from what he's saying, what you're explaining. It's a very big difference, a very big gap, because if you try to look at the women in leadership, we are getting the Kamala Harris type of behavior. That is how they got there, and that is also the norm where when you talk about cultures and traditions also our men can't understand that, hey, do I really need to bend a woman over for me to give her this position? Most of them also have this
that was European culture. So yeah, the Europeans came in and now you taking on their culture.
Crazy.
So let me let the Baganda women speak for themselves.
Oh, for starters, it's everywhere, not just Baganda. Inebantu got married, and when did she come out to see the people? She's not even allowed to just go around talking anyhow.
Praise the Maria Ascent,
the queen of the kingdom of Busoga. She's not even allowed to go talking to people anyhow. Do you know that our queen can't even stay in the same kingdom with the king because women are supposed to be treated a certain kind of way? Maybe he's talking about the parliament and the government. We do have people there, but if he's talking about the kingdom, I think he's misinformed.
Okay, all right. Before we make this a debate about men versus women, let me come to you, Andrew, because when we were speaking, you made the point that, look, what are we even defending? What culture? Like these laws and rules that we are following, who came up with them? How far back do they go? Tell me a bit about that.
Personally, I believe culture is the way of life. The problem is that most of the times when we're talking about culture in Africa, we talk about it in a traditional way. We talk about it what we wear. For example, like we might tell you that we are in a cultural center because there are a couple of arts, but culture is more than that. It's the food, it's what we say, it's the way we talk. So when you look at Africa, since we were colonized all those years back, and you look at Africa today, what exactly are we trying to preserve? We're having this conversation in English for starters, and one fiber of culture is language. If we are having this conversation in English, if most of us are wearing these garbs, which we do not even know where they came from, not wearing the hides and skins, what are we still trying to defend?
Okay. Let me give Henry a chance. Henry, by the way, is a veteran journalist and also an educator in matters tradition.
Yes, I would like to support what my colleague has just said on language, and that's where I want to start from. I think my concern really is English language is dead completely because of Western languages.
But I mean, can you say that because here in Kampala, majority of the people don't speak English or Swahili, they speak Luganda.
Yes, I speak Luganda, and most of people here in Kampala speak Luganda, but that's not their traditional language. You find the Karamojong from Karamoja, Kasese from the Bakonjo, the Batoro, they are all in Kampala, and they have lost out. They can't speak their traditional indigenous language. How do you imagine a Mutoro speaking Rutoro in Kampala? People think you are a villager, first of all. You're not educated. Number two, and because of that, and then the Western languages, English is now coming in. I also hear French has come in, Arabic has come in. So they're overshadowing everything. You saw recently.
I feel like this is why it goes back to a conversation we were one time having right here, I think on Tubonge, talking about some of the things we should maintain on cultures and traditions. And when we introduce Afrocentric schools, shout out to Kamlesh, I think is the one who was asking, or someone else, should we, I think it was Leslie who was asking if, yeah, it was Leslie. If we introduce Afrocentric schools, should we maintain the local languages or should we continue with the British language, that is English? And Kamlesh said that we should actually maintain the local languages because if you try to look at, again, as much as we're talking about the differences we've grown up with cultures, it goes back to us maintaining those morals and traditions. So I feel like it is very, very, what he's trying to say is where there is a difference in culture, in ethnicity, especially in their country, the ethnical differences, where there's some people, when you go to them, they think you are the worst or you're the villager, and as much as they are on the village, you know. So we need to come to one term. So we need to, I feel like, if you try to look at our cultures, which I've understood, it's not much difference of a gap. It's just some few things slightly that we do different. But if you look at our names, our language, because for me, I can understand Kikuyu so well. Not all of it. There's some deep Kikuyu I can't understand, but I understand Kikuyu. No one can talk to Kikuyu about me. I'll hear it. Luya, I'll hear Luya. I hear Luya a bit, and people are surprised that I hear Luya. But I think because of staying with my stepmom, she was a Luya, and also the fact that my grandfather, the father to my dad, he bought his farm in the western parts of Kenya, but in the Luya side, not in the Luo part. Yeah, he's Luo, but he built the farm on the western side. So they grew up talking Luya. They don't know that much of Luo. So I know Luya. I can hear Luya. I can hear bits of Luo. You know, I can hear Kisi a little bit.
Damn, that's pretty awesome, Joby. Shit.
Yeah, I can hear.
You mean can't nobody be talking shit about you in Kenya? You don't know.
Yeah, I was almost learning the Somali. I know a few abuses about Somali. That's all I got. Because Somalis like abusing each other a lot. So I caught a lot of, you know, all that. But when you try just look at the cultures, the languages, it's a slight difference that we have. So I feel like that is what he's trying to explain here. As much as we have some ethnics that look at you are like the most Dama people. Like in Kenya, we look at the Kalenjins, sorry again, the Kisis, not all of them. Some traditions to be they're considered very backic, but if you look at those who are calling each other backic, you know, it's just the same traditions. It's not different.
Examinations, you must pass English to be seen an elite person. So I am really feeling sorry for that. You don't find many Acholis in Kampala speaking Acholi.
Okay,
yes.
All right.
That's the character which is going on.
Yes.
The issue is people should emulate who they are and be proud and be what they are. Language, culture, just like language, it is the issue of choice. No one has ever been arrested in this country for speaking their language. No one has ever been arrested for dressing how they are. Some things came because of bullies in culture. Yes, in our traditions, we've been having bullies. Like, for instance, we've been having a talk that a woman is not supposed to eat chicken and eggs, but it is not written anywhere.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It is crazy because also for me, I grew up knowing that a woman is not supposed to eat the chicken gizzards. So in our household, a chicken gizzard to the wife, to any female child, it's a no-go zone. Also, the chicken leg, the wing, the chicken, not the wing, but the chicken thigh.
You ain't listen, Joey. You eat the gizzards, the legs, and all that shit.
I eat it because I mean that's why you go back to what this lady who looks like Maria, what she's saying. I grew up with these traditions, yes, but some of them you look at them, you're like, nah,
exactly.
All of this,
It's
stupid.
Yeah, because it's fucking stupid.
It's not within our lines. And in Baganda, it is detested. A woman is supposed to be treated like any other human being. But the modernists who came in here to screw us up, they came to pick the bad part about us, to preach the bad gospel, to make us look as if we are pushing the women, children.
All right. Okay. Let's settle this chicken situation once and for all. Okay? Because I don't want us to talk about it again. Here, let me give you a chance to respond because you raised your hand.
To that argument of the whole thing, because I would totally agree that it has been a general problem in Africa, in Uganda as well. Women, even as he stated earlier in his argument, that there are female leaders in positions, but trust me, those female leaders are still marginalized. Why? Because of the cultures that were there back then, because of the previous cultures. So him saying that the women have actually been included, it has always been a general problem. Go to any traditional home, a woman is marginalized.
Okay, but let me ask a question that Andrew raised. When we talk about culture, it's just the general evolution of a people. Yes. So when you say previous cultures, when does a previous culture end and begin?
Now, the previous culture, I would say, is how they used to behave in the past days. Right now, it's an evolutionary era. The season is there's an evolution happening right now. So as Africans, we should stop the blame game of the Western culture is influencing us. We have these very resources. We have the internet. We have all these things. How many times will we hear of an African fashion gala, an African fashion show that is going viral? No one is really bothered. The problem is not with the Western culture. We need to take the exact place that
I get your point.
I agree with that, and that's why I go back to what I'm saying. It's been wiped out as much as the white people have practiced. The African people right now are also practicing it. Which the next argument is about the modernization of it, the modern culture and traditions, but. The example she's used is where we have the Africa traditions attire, concerts, parties, but they're not really that hyped the way you'd see a Cardi B or someone else coming from coming to participate or perform in Africa the way it's gonna be hyped. It's so sad to see. It is considered so backward, so backache when you try, even when you wear the African attires, not everyone appreciates that. It's a few people who still actually embrace that. It is still a few people actually.
The things I've had so much already is everyone is talking about they're talking about the gomesi as a traditional dress, and then the kanzu was the alternative for men. But these things were not even designed by Baganda to begin with. The gomesi wasn't designed by Baganda, and neither is its material from here. The material is from usually India, and even the material for the kanzu is from India. So just for starters, that's not even a traditional dress. Someone gave it to us, so
you see, that's why it comes in. So it's them who are eroding culture on their own. This is all they have taught us. This is all they have taught us. Nothing else has been taught to us. You understand? They ran away from their culture and they drove us with them. So what we know, and now they're telling us, is non-culture, is on them. So the people themselves are eroding culture. Before they blame modernization about languages being eroded because of modernization, let's talk about intermarriages. Which language is the child supposed to learn growing up? So these people who came before us eroded culture, and now they're blaming modernization. Because all I've known as culture out there is gomesi, the mushanana, the kanzu. And if he's telling me today, you want us to wear a back cloth and walk half naked?
Okay, that's Henry, that's a good question. I just want to come back to you for a second because there's an important point that Faith is raising there, that we're all sort of adapting a watered down version of some kind of culture. So what do you have to say to that, looking to the future?
Yeah, you
People
lost
blame
it.
young
You
people
don't.
for not
You're right. She's
taking on
telling
what
the truth because you didn't listen. You freely gave up the culture to the white man because he told you that you're bad, told you you're no good. He told you
Exactly.
your shit's evil. So don't try. You're not gonna. Don't act like you didn't do that. You did. Some of you fought for life. You say, "Okay, white man, I ain't do. Are you right? I'm evil." All
You
that
see,
old kind of
yeah,
shit.
because I do believe it's like the same way with religion. We had as much
Right.
as they did force it, we had people who are like, "Hey, this is wrong." We didn't have people who tried to defend culture. We went along, or they went along with what was coming, what was being introduced. Right now, men can wear
Yeah.
skirts. That's okay. Men can now, do this. That's okay. They can now even do pedicure and
They,
manicure. That's
they can
okay.
have they can have twerk in the middle of the street without
You
getting
can be
smacked in
exactly.
the head. What's wrong with you?
You can be a sausage on Tana, and that is you claiming you are a man. God damn, hell no. So we've lacked a group of people who lacked. I'm gonna speak of masculinity. This is why it applies. We lacked masculinity in our societies because I do believe
True.
women are really so rooted into cultures, morals, and traditions in
Of
Africa, to be
course.
specific. So I do believe that is masculinity that we lacked, that did fail to protect what was coming, what attacked the culture, and now they are blaming, the change, or the things are just changing, and they want to blame actually still the westernization. No, you failed to actually stand up. You failed to
Yeah.
stand up when the white man was changing
Exa-
everything.
Exactly.
Because Honor gave a very good example with what is currently going on in African countries, the LGBTQ agenda being pushed. Museveni has stood to his ground. Despite him being a puppet, he's like, hey, yo, this is not something I'm going to accept. I accept being a bootlick, being a who, but this is something I'm not going to accept in my country. You can see the kind of harsh rules is really passed. So it is all about you standing firm on things that you know are right and wrong. So it goes back to masculinity.
we now know as our culture?
I think we may not have to blame the people, but we have to blame the international communities, which has come up to
Again.
unify us. They are calling it global village now. And a colleague of mine earlier, I want to put a radar. He said that you can't be punished for a local language. It's not true. So me, I was punished twice for speaking my local language. Those days they would put a dress on you, a badge on you to indicate that you were found speaking.
Well, that we grew up with, it was a system of school where speaking English was a must. You can't speak Swahili, you can't speak your local language. If you're found, you're gonna be wearing these some dressing code, either a sack. You could you either hold a
Damn.
disc the whole day. You can hold a disc the whole day. You're just gonna be given some punishment for you to
Great.
not or speak English by must and by force.
The local language in a compound. So there have been effort to decompine African languages and local languages in particular.
Okay,
And that's my challenge. and that's
let me hear from Catherine, and then I'd like to hear some thoughts from the back, please.
I would like to state that in 1966, President Milton Obote abolished kingdoms. So that was the beginning of the end as we see it. So when the kingdoms were abolished, they were later reinstated by Museveni in 1993. So you can see the gap, the years, people not practicing tradition, the kingdom is closed, you don't know who is your king, your princess, you're just there, right? And then when it comes, some kingdoms were not re-established. For example, the Ankole kingdom where I come from. So I don't know where the king is, I don't know where the prince is. I hear we have a princess somewhere, I don't know where she is. So can I come? That's why you're educated to learn about your culture. So for example, what I learn now is what I find on the farm in the village, but that is not necessarily what they practiced in the 1900s, right?
Sure.
So it has been changed and changed. Unlike you in Buganda, who still has your culture and your kingdom and your king, I have none.
All right. Okay. Let me ask Faith an important question here, which is that yes, what is the importance of these symbolisms of? Oh, are you guys hitting on each other on my panel?
Would you even know your
So
kingdoms
what is the
anymore?
importance of these symbols in culture? Because like you're saying, the kingdom, does it have a place in modern day society?
It does. I mean, the UK has a king as the overall. So it does have a place in modern society, but it doesn't have to be too rigid to change some of their practices. You understand?
But the
We are not
British
saying the
told you
country
their
should go
king is your
away.
king
We're
now.
just saying
You don't
that
have any king. The British told you their king is your king, goddammit.
adapt to the modernization. And when we are trying to adapt, they should not judge the ones who are adapting. You understand? So now when I show up for a party in my high sleeve dress and it's a traditional party, it should not be a crime that I'm not wearing a gomesi. You understand? We are just saying they do have a place in the modern society, but they should be ready to adapt.
Okay,
there's
so
a lot we
at
can
what
do.
level do we adapt? Because it sounds to me like we want to do all the things that are easy, the clothing, the ceremonies around marriage and naming children. What about politics? What about medicine? Yeah, somebody, please. Hey, yes, somebody talk to me.
You're talking about setting up a whole society. You're not based in a culture society. You're based in a fake democracy. Well, you're not in a democracy, you're in a dictatorship. So your culture can't thrive in a fake, because culture would start with your political system. Your political systems are non-African. So you can't have true culture because you don't have a political system of your own because the white man destroyed all that.
True,
It was your culture. How your culture created your political system. That's been wiped away. Go ahead,
I
Johnny.
agree. Tomboya said it too. I love going back to his video saying that any leadership that is not based on culture and tradition does not favor the people. And that is what we can see today in Africa. Literally doesn't favor us because everything is so westernized.
Because it's European. And it's not about modernity. It's not modern. It's Western. Stop using the name modern to describe Western. They're savages. Their system is not modern. It's wicked. It's parasitical. Stop using modern to describe Western. Just say Western, not modern. The system is Western.
I think like modernization to a greater percentage does not affect culture really much, because you can do your culture as long as you can be with your phone, you can do anything which is modern as long as preserving your culture. You can eat your traditional food, you can dress in your traditional wear. As you're using internet, as you're on WhatsApp, you're doing any modern thing you want to do. You can do anything, like anything, even the local drinks, the dress code, the what. But it is, I think, the way we are brought out nowadays, it's Africans who are eroding their own culture. Because when you go to school, first of all, they want you to speak English throughout. When you speak your local language, is a burden. Like they want to punish you. So you'll be with all this fear, you'll be like, and then there's this thing. Africans, when you speak, fellow Africans, you speak your local language. Like I'm Acholi. I'm speaking Acholi. And then someone says, you see?
Like a crime.
Then you'll be like, now me, when I speak Acholi, they're going to tell me, every time I speak Acholi, among Bagandas, they'll be like, So that thing is like bullying by fellow Africans, you see? So it affects the language part. Then maybe you're eating your traditional food among your fellow Africans. Maybe you're eating greens. They want you to eat chicken, exotic. They want you to eat chips, which they didn't know before. When you bring your greens, Africans be like, what is that? They start mocking you. You see, it's Africans who are contributing to these things.
And it starts from school, because I remember also at school when you could carry ugali, maybe it's skuma. Hey, you come from a poor place, okay? Why aren't you carrying chicken? Why aren't you carrying beef and rice and spaghetti? You know, they want all these westernized kind of foods. All that bougie scene images and all that. You can't go back to eating kale, spinach, cabbage, no more, and considering
which is actually better for you. So you got to eat the white man's bad food in order for other Africans to accept you. That means you're out of your African mind. That's the thing about self-hate. You've been given self-hate. Everything African is bad. Everything white is good. You got it. So it's the enslavement of the mind. The African has got to decolonize the mind. They're colonized in the head.
Can be Modernize at the same time observing. your
Yeah.
culture.
Okay. I like that. All right. So you don't have to choose. Stay traditional, but also stay modern. There were some views at the back there. Yeah. Let's come here.
So culturally, those days before, a woman was expected to go back home, cook for the husband, take care of the children. But these days, there is an aspect of work. A woman has to go to work. The husband is also going to work. So they come back late and they have to just go buy food. Then we also talk about the family setting. Parents these days, they grow up talking to their kids in English. And the kids also believe that, yeah, when they want to, maybe when they go to the villages, they cannot even communicate to their elders,
Elders,
like
exactly.
grandparents. And that is
Exactly.
really a big problem.
Okay.
Exactly. It's a big problem, like I said, but I'll share the rest of the video, the link right here. Such an amazing documentary right here. I love the debate personally. And I'm looking forward to also do this maybe here in the 254. Go to the streets and talk to people about cultures and traditions.
How about
And
that?
sadly, you can find people to actually, because it's so hard being honest family, to find people who understand this kind of conversation. You'll have to find a group of people who will understand what you are bringing to the table, what you want to talk about.
Damn, in Kenya, why should that be hard? Hell, that's Uganda. She did it. She got
Yeah,
that.
I'm just saying you have to, because I believe she had to collect data, of course, to invite
All
these
right.
people to be on camera.
O-
You have to
Okay.
to understand which kind of people are going to understand the debate you bring in
Okay.
front of them before randomly approaching them. So we're looking forward to that. We're going to arrange on that and hit the streets. And we are looking forward to do a couple of things. Shout out to Fabian. Thank you so much for following the live creator. John Mosquito, thank you for tuning in. Jiba Jabba had a few comments, but before I get to read the comments, like everything has been said, it is so true. We need to go back to our cultures and traditions, but there's a lot of things which, if it doesn't start from home, it should start from home. Like the first lady said, it starts from home. Being taught the morals, how to behave, how to dress, how to eat in front of people. For me, I've grown up and it's never, I don't think it will ever end. I'll never stop eating like this. I've grown up with that type of an etiquette. Like you can't allow food to spill on your clothes or spill food down. Like you have to,
Oh no.
you know, you always have to guard. Like, and I've grown up with that because I've been taught it's an etiquette, not
Okay.
just being etiquette, you know.
Okay, well, be etiquette, but they ain't taught you how not to eat fast.
Right, yo. No, you think you're gonna come snatch my food every single time? So hey, yo, I'm gonna teach myself how to eat quick. You're just gonna be timing the good days when we have the good food? No, no. I was just a baby. I didn't deserve that. I didn't deserve that. But it starts from home. Going to school, it gets worse because we are talking about you dealing with traditions back at home. You've been taught how to behave, but also we have another system being introduced to you, which is full of westernization.
Exactly, that's true.
You've been told the traditions. You have
True.
the religion. There's a lot of confusion now. You're caught up also in the religion and
Cut up
cultures.
in the middle. That's right.
Exactly.
And understand, their religion is a aspect of their culture. Their Christianity is their culture. Just like Islam is the white Arabs' culture. It comes with their it's the culturalization of their religions, because that's why you had to have take on a Christian name, not an African name. You had to get rid of your African name. It wasn't no good. You had to take a Christian name. What is that? Oh, the white man's name. That don't even make any sense. And if this is a universal religion and God is one whole God, why I gotta take on a white man's name? Because that's a lie. It is the religion. It's to take the culture and also embed it deeply through religion.
It is crazy. But as we get to wind up, shout to Byron Scott in the building. Hope you guys have learned something today. Hope you, as you talk about traditions and cultures, you can see in Africa it's still very active.
I've learned to eat my food and put my hand under it like Joby.
Oh Lord. Yeah, need fast. And need fast. You know,
No eating fast.
You've also learned that women, some traditions are not allowed to eat eggs, chicken, some parts of the chicken in the order.
That's some over. I don't know. That's so back in there, whoever made it, that leader was retarded. That don't even make any sense. So some traditions you gotta think like who like they ask who created this shit? Who made it up? How you know the leader who said that wasn't retarded? Like that's dumb. Fuck out of here with that dumb shit.
It is insane. But I see Jibba Jabba says Joby says cook for me and shut those kids up. Oh no.
No shit.
I'm gonna have a nanny for the kids, man. I can't have my husband taking care of the kids. I mean, come on. I myself, no, I don't think I'm not gonna have babies if I'm not ready. And I'm not. I'm not.
We know you're not ready. But the children, but the noise, the school, the kids gotta go to school.
Someone who's gonna be removing the diaper, washing the kid. My work is just breastfeeding. You know, just baby girl treatments. You know, I'm just being a wife. Come on. That's all.
Now with no kids, they're screaming, they're howling all night, they're not sleeping. Shit.
That's why I need a nanny. That's the work of the nanny. Yo,
nanny can't get up in the middle of the night, Joby, and get the kid when it needs to be sleep.
I'm gonna pump the milk. Go feed the baby. Thank you for the compliment.
Baby don't want the nanny. Baby wants the mama. Middle night crying all night. God damn it. I remember them days was rough, boy. Shit.
I can't, man. But Jibba says the thumb rule of thumb means you can't beat your wife with a stick trickier than your thumb. Okay. And I also see saying that the tall girl sounds like the Ugandan Shmani. Goddamn. And I also see Jibba Jabba says King Charles recently received 36 million raise in salary. Shout out to him. And thanks to Robin Africa. Okay, you know, it's just crazy, man. It is, They have been robbing. I mean, how many lands do they own in every African country that they did colonize? Ask yourself.
A lot, Joe, but the majority.
Mm-hmm. It is insane. But family, wrapping it up there with today's conversation. Have yourselves a beautiful day. See you guys, of course, later on the Black Hills Frequency. Come back on the network and on the radio, on TikTok, as you listen to the BHFN countdown with Shmani, Iwaton, and Kamlesh. Have yourselves a beautiful day. I'm not sure if today demonstrations are going on. I'll be keeping you guys updated later as we get to see. I've not seen any updates of what is happening, so we shall see if today people have really marched to the parliament to demonstrate, calling for justice on behalf of those who have been shot and killed on the demonstration. Nonetheless, have yourselves a beautiful day.
Peace. My Sade, that's right.